there is a video. Let me see if I can find it for you. And this video was from Soviet Union KGB officer. This KGB officer, high rank officer. This guy, he said in his video that in order to do brainwash to a nation, to a country, the enemy, it takes 20 years. He explained how it worked and how they were able to destroy America without war. You might think that they failed. Soviet Union collapsed. No, they did not. Maybe the Soviet Union collapsed, but America collapsed with them too. You have generations, as you see in the street, going supporting terrorists. I'm trying to find where it is. When you hear it, you will not believe it. Here we go. Ex-Soviet. Okay, give me a second. Let me search for it. I want you to listen to this one carefully. And then you will understand how big countries, empire, they can be destroyed by just specific method which you might think it's impossible. How the Soviet Union can really conquer USA. This is
or psychological warfare.
This is the video. This is a short. Actually, there's a other video longer, but I think this one will do the job. We do not need to watch. So this is an old video from the Soviet Union time. They are telling you, those are KGB, what they did to America. Listen carefully.
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow and is divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years?
It take what?
Because this is the minimum number of...
Listen, the first stage take from between 15 to 20 years. Do you see how the process takes long time? Why 15 to 20 years? We are talking about generations. So we start with the young kids, and those young kids later, they will be teachers. They will be principal of schools. They will be a professor. They will be a Congress. So if we can brainwash them when they are little, start from that day, in 20 years or 15, 20 years, then they will be adult. Then there is the second stage. Let me play it again.
No one is able to come to sensible conclusions.
And you see what the target? The target is to make a nation of this nation. None of them is able to come to a sensible, which means you lose your common sense. In other words, they will make you stupid. But how that they can do? It's not hard.
Ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow and is divided in 4 basic stages.
To make it simple, how you do that? He did not mention it, by the way, in the video, but I will tell you. Is it true that in many places in America, if you have an American flag on your t-shirt, they will kick you out? But if you have a Mexican, if you have Palestine, if you have ISIS, you are welcome? Are you listening? This is what he's talking about. They lose their common sense. They make them believe that America is evil land. They make them believe that their government is their enemy, their army is their enemy, their flag is their enemy. And if somebody joined the army, the USA Army, he's evil. And this is exactly what you see in all those liberal states. Even Obama, there's a video of him making fun of those who joined the US Army, and he called them losers. So to destroy a nation is to make people of the nation don't want to defend the nation. Isn't it this is what's happening? Did the Soviet Union did a great job? Yes, they did. Look at your kids. They lose their common sense to the point they will not even defend their own family.
Information. No one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interest of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow and is divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged.
This is what we have. Look who is in the Congress. What is name? What woman? Orgatis? Or what is name? The Mexican lady? Or Puerto Rico? This is a mad woman in the Congress. She want to turn off the sun. This is what he's talking about. Slowly, American kids into socialism, which is nothing but a form of communism. They don't want to call themselves communist, but they are communist. When Joe Biden now, just today, he announced he will give $5 billion forgiveness of loan for a student. This is a form of communism, where we take money from the one who have money and we give it to the one who don't have money. But at the end of the day, nobody will have money anyway, because the rich one will run away, will take their money, and they will notice, oh, those communists are taking over, so I better sell my property and go and have business in a different place. It's not fair that I will pay a lot of tax and those people, they don't work and they get all the money. So slowly, they made the generation after generation. Look, Soviet Union is gone almost 40 years ago. Still, the propaganda of the Soviet Union is very successful, and it's growing, because you cannot stop it. That's it. They destroy the first generation. The second generation make bigger destruction than the first one. The third generation, they make bigger. So now they are expanding. So you will find that all the territory of California is the same. All the territory of Seattle, all the territory of Washington, D.C., all New York, all Illinois, all Chicago is the same. And you will notice that the propaganda of the Soviet Union to brainwash American kids work only with those who have no belief in the Bible. This is something I need to mention to show you why it's so important to protect your family. It doesn't matter if you're American or not, by the way. This is not just about American. This is about any nation, because the psychology warfare is something. They have a department. Every army, they have a big department to study the culture of the enemy and how they can launch a war, propaganda war. So war is not only by shooting and guns. Sometimes even this war can destroy faster than guns. You can change the president, you can change the government, you can collapse the country just by propaganda. You will notice, which is something I notice, I'm not born in this country, as you know. I'm immigrant myself. But I notice that states who have more believers, the propaganda of the Soviet Union, which we are talking about now, is not active with them. They don't hate America. They joined the army. I joined the army myself. And notice how many Christians are. The majority, actually, I can say that maybe 97% of the ones who are with me in the unit, we go to the church. Like, who want to go to the church? If you serve in the army, you know that the drill sergeant, they say, come to you, who want to go to the church Sunday? Everybody goes. So you can say the majority of the soldiers in the USA Army, they are believers. Socialists will not join the US Army because they hate America. How many times we saw socialists burning the American flag? If you don't believe me, go watch Antifa. This is what they did. The Soviet Union, they have a great success, and they build a culture where your son, hate his own house, which is his country. But their propaganda did not work with people who have the Bible in their house and they follow it. You will not find one Christian person who live in the country. He is a true Christian. He hate America. Like, I speak against Biden, but do I hate America? I will never do that. I joined the army because I love this country, even though I'm not born here. When somebody asks me, when you want to go back home, I get upset because this is my home. I don't have other home. So when you are a believer, you will be loyal. You don't cheat, you don't betray. A country gave me citizenship. A country respect me. A country gave me the freedom. A country treat me as a human. What I need more to call it my country? And this is why, actually, if the American, they want to have a strong America, they should promote strong Christian culture. I don't want to use the word culture much, but I want to make it, let us say, culture. English is my second language. It's more than a culture. But if they promote Christian belief and Christian, let us say, idea about what home is, then you will have a strong country. You will not see anyone there to betray his land or burning his flag. Why you want to burn your flag? Why a teacher, he will kick a kid out from the school for his having American flag in his t-shirt? But this is America. I mean, this can happen if you live in Gaza. That can be acceptable. But why in the world a child is holding his flag? He is being to be bullied by even a teacher. How we reach this point? Because your Congress is corrupt. They don't care. The FBI is corrupt. Look what they are doing to Trump just because he's opposing. He want to go for election. They are doing anything. They become the same as the Soviet Union, the same as the KGB, the same as Putin. Anyone who don't agree with their method, send him to jail, charge him with this, find a crime against him, tax, property, sex scandals, just to throw anything at him, just to disturb the person and to frame him and to make him look bad. It is reality. If you look at the Congress today, you will see that the Republican, they hate each other. There's many parties inside the party. They are gangs. So this is why you see that those Hamas and Iran, they don't find America scary no more. This country is very much divided. And this is why always I speak for what? I speak for unity. Because divide and conquer. Do you understand why always I speak for unity? The country is very much divided. They cannot agree about anything. They cannot agree about budget. They cannot agree about schools. They cannot agree about books. They cannot agree about no money. They cannot agree about ambassador. They cannot agree about a flag. They cannot agree about anything. They cannot agree about the borders. I mean, the whole world, you will not find one country in the world disagree that they should close their border from people who they are not legal. You will not find. Only in America. And this is what the guy is talking about. It took them a lot of time, but it's working. Soviet Union is gone. It's like, you spread the virus, and then the virus is out of control. Even if you try, you yourself who spread the virus, to stop it, you cannot. It's like posting something in the internet. Can you take it back? So Soviet Union worked for more than 20, 30 years in this propaganda, and they are very much successful.
Demoralization, it takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled, because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards.
Did you hear? This is a KGB agent saying, thanks to the lack of moral standard. Did you hear it? We become the same like Muslims. We have a lack of moral standard. We become confused. If you go to Islamic countries, you will find the judge is corrupt, the police is corrupt, the president is corrupt, the butcher is corrupt, the grocery store is corrupt. Everybody is a thief. Lack of moral standard. Being a thief there actually is like a smart. You know, you come to your family, you tell them, today I did this, I did fool this guy, I stole his money. They will be proud of you. Nobody will shout at you. Nobody will say to you, what are you doing? Shame on you. This is the Middle East. So now we are in America, it's the same. You will hear now, if you go on TV, you will see how many people they do shoplifting. Like in Muslim countries, where they put bars over every window because there's no safety, no security. Robbery. If you go check right now, how many robbery happened? In Chicago, you will think you live in Gaza, where people, they rob each other in the street non-stop. Or you live in Iraq, or you live in Syria. So he said, thanks, American doing it to American doing this propaganda to American, thanks to the lack of morality.
For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled, because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force.
Isn't this amazing? Guys, isn't this is absolutely true? This is a very old video, by the way. This is an old KGB video. He is telling you that when this process is over, brainwash process, no matter what you do, even if you show them the truth, even if you shower them with incredible evidence, you cannot convince them. That's it. They lose totally their common sense. And this is what we see today. I find this video incredible, by the way.
Without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled, because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The
Like
facts
Muslims.
tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he's going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of the
Did you hear it? When the military boot crush his balls.
GB or
This is what Muhammad did to the Muhammadan. So now, in order to fix the brainwash, as we heard, what is the solution? The solution only is faith and the book, the Bible. I believe strongly that this generation, and maybe the one after it, is going to face a lot of struggle, and then they will find themselves they have to come back to faith, even though they become demonic, even though they become so stupid. But a human being, by nature, by the creation of God, when he feels himself so much as a loser, so much weak, so much helpless, then at that moment he go back and look for faith. You will find a lot of people who they curse God every day, all their life. Suddenly, in a moment, they woke up and they become believers again. But why? It doesn't make sense. This guy is an atheist. He keep cursing God. He don't believe in God. He prays being atheist or anything. How come suddenly he want to be a believer? Because simply they keep living in the vacuum tube as long as they can breathe. And when the moment comes and they feel they are drowning and they are out of their last breath, they look for God. But we have a duty as a Christians to keep the seed so we can have future harvest. One farmer, he can retrieve miles and miles of ground. Just one farmer. Remember the Lord, the Messiah, he sent 12 disciples. One of them, he betrayed him. And later more, they joined. And they were able to make a harvest around the world. So yes, they have propaganda. Yes, they were successful. Yes, the demonic culture is spreading. But yes, that God's word will never die as long there is a believers. And always we will be victorious. Who is this guy being interviewed? He is a KGB in charge of propaganda to the USA. And everything he said is absolutely true. He said, even if you bring them in the front of the truth, even if you shower them with facts, still they are in denial. They will not listen to you. And this is exactly what we witness. And this is the case for the Muslim, by the way. You bring a Muslim, like if you go back a few days ago, when a Muslim, he called me, I showed him hadith after verses. He agreed that there is contradiction. Still, he don't want to leave Islam. So brainwashed is when you reach the point that you don't want even to see what you see. Like you see it in front of your eyes, and you inside you say to yourself, no, I saw nothing. No, this is not this. Okay, it's true, but it's not true. They are brainwashed to the point they accept that they have a prophet. If his eyes fall into a woman, the husband must divorce her. Imagine. And they claim in the same time that they are conservative, and women, they cover themselves. You cover yourself because of your shame. In fact, the women cover in Islam is the best way for prostitution. If you go in the Old Testament, you will see how the Palestinian women, she went to the temple to do what? She wear burqa, covering her face. What Palestinian women they do in the temple, not the Jewish temple, the pagan temple? What they do? They do sex service. So, in their belief, the Palestinian, not those now, the Palestinian, if she have a sin, if she did something guilt, in order to ask the gods to forgive her, she wear a burqa, and she offer her body to anyone who enter the temple if you want. However, the burqa is for a reason. She don't want the one who is having sex with her to see her face. So burqa was through history is a way to do and nobody knows. It's not for dignity, it's not for virginity, it's not for protection. It is just to hide your identity, so the one who sleep with you, he will not know, and those who see you in the front of the business of prostitution, they will not recognize you.